Okay, so back in July, my friend Tatiana from Reading with Tatiana created the book tag Exposing My TBR, and I have wanted to do it ever since then. It's now December. I am finally trying to get caught up on tags. So I am so excited for this one. As I was prepping for it, I learned a great deal about myself. So let's get into it. So hi, my name is Talia. I love books. I love bandanas. I'm so excited you are on my channel today. This really is a fun one for me. So let's jump into the prompts. So prompt number 1, how do I come across books to add to my TBR? So I will say these days it's mostly Booktube, but I am always looking to come across books. It's like I'm searching them out. I was somewhere the other day. I don't remember if I was waiting at the doctor's office or what, but someone like came in with a book and I was like, what's that guy reading? Like, I'm actively seeking out books to read, but these days most of them do come from Booktube recommendations. Prompt number 2 is a Booktube shout out to the person who I add the most books to my TBR from. So I do not think I have mentioned Angie on my channel before, but in my early days of Booktube and like as I was trying to think if I was going to start my channel, Angie Henderson, that is the name of her channel. She also has a homeschool channel called Science Mama, so I'll link her below. She was highly influential in the books that I was starting to read during the time. She did like an Agatha Christie read along, and that's how I read my first Agatha Christie book. Spinning Silver, she was the one who I first heard about that from, and quite a few other books. So there are lots of booktubers that I get lots of book froms, but she's who I've chosen to highlight just because of her particular influence in my early days of my channel. And she gives great recommendations. If you do not follow Angie, you definitely should be following her. Okay, book that has been there the longest on my TBR. So I only started Goodreads in this year, so all of the books I added have been added this year to my Goodreads account. The first book I added, or the book that I added that has not been read yet, is Death on the Nile by Agatha Christie. So prompt number 4 is my most recently added book. That is The 101 Dalmatians by Dodie Smith. And that is because I just read Capture the Castle by Dodie Smith and really enjoyed it. And learned that she wrote 101 Dalmatians, which is a movie that I saw as a child. Fun fact, that was actually the first movie I remember seeing in the movie theater when I was little. So has a special little spot in my heart. So I definitely want to check out the book and see how it is. So that's the most recent one I added to my TBR. Okay, prompt number 5. Which book will I read next? The only thing on my TBR from December that I haven't read yet is Scarlet by Marissa Meyer. So this is next on the list, and hopefully I will get to it in December. That's the plan, at least. Although I think I'm in the middle of 3 or 4 other books that weren't on my TBR for December because things have gotten a little out of control, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, prompt number 6. Oh, most anticipated book and why I haven't read it. Okay, so I have been for quite a while wanting to read The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. I have seen this book on so many channels. It has hundreds and hundreds of reviews on Goodreads. I have just not read it yet, and I don't have a reason why I haven't read it. I think I just haven't picked up a copy and haven't found one at the library randomly, but I need to just put it on hold and get it done because that's a book I really want to read. Goals for the new year, right? Okay, books that I added to my TBR due to the hype. This is prompt number 7. For this one, I'm picking The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I have just seen this one around a lot. It sounds pretty good. It's just pretty popular on Booktube. I keep seeing it everywhere. People keep saying great things about it. So that one's on my TBR simply because of the hype. I would say a lot of books are on my TBR because of the hype though, especially since I get most of my recommendations from BookTube. It's like people hype them up. People are like, this is great, you should read this. And that's how I get a lot of books on my TBR. Okay, so prompt number 8 is books that I added that I knew I wasn't going to read. And I'm gonna say no. Every book that I add to my TBR, I add it because I have the intention to read it. But I will say that prompt number 9 is, are there any books on my TBR that I know I'm going to remove? And yes, because as I was going through my Goodreads account and scrolling through all the books that are on my TBR, some of them, I have never seen these books in my life. Like, I don't know who recommended them. I don't know where I heard about them from. They don't look like books I want to read. So I'm gonna be removing those. And I'm gonna spend some time over the coming weeks cleaning up the TBR. Because if I don't remember where it came from and it doesn't sound good to me, then I'm not going to read it. So with those two questions tied together, no, there's nothing I add with the knowledge that I'm not going to read it. But yes, I do add books that I'm not going to read because I forget where I found them from. So there's that. One answer kind of for 2 questions there. Oh, I actually wrote down 2 books as I was going through to share with you that I'm going to remove. So Fence by C.S. Picot. It looks like it's about a boy who's a fencer. So I don't know where that came from. And then Musashi, which looks like a Japanese warrior maybe. And again, so both of those, I just don't know where they came from. So if you're the one who recommended that book in your video, remind me in the comments below about why it's good and why I want to read it, because I can't remember. So try again. Okay, so now we're gonna do a grand reveal, which is the number of books on my TBR. Drum roll. So for Goodreads, I have 313 books on my Goodreads TBR currently, which is fine for me. I'm okay, especially considering that there's books I want to remove, and anytime I hear a book that I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds good, I want to read it, I put it on there. So that seems, I don't know, that's a lot of books to read, but also considering how much I'm on BookTube and researching books, that seems about right to me. What shocked me was I took the time to go through and count the number of physical books I have that I haven't read, and I have 90, which I didn't realize I had that many. And it's not a terrible amount. I'm sure like many of you have more than that, and some a lot less. But I just wasn't expecting it to be that many. And some of those aren't even on my Goodreads list, because for example, Percy Jackson, I have 4 books in the series that I haven't read, but I don't have those on my TBR at all. Also, when I'm at Goodwill and I pick up like random nonfiction books for really cheap or library sales, sometimes those books just go on my shelf and they don't go into the Goodreads account. So there's some overlap, but not some separate books as well. So basically this all means I have a lot of books to read and I have a lot of going through my Goodreads account and getting it pared down too, because it's also to the point where I'm like scrolling like what should I read next, and there's so much in there that I think I could benefit from paring it down a little bit. So yeah, thank you, Tiana, for creating this tag. It was super fun, just to go through and take some time to focus and get motivated to clean up my books, especially my Goodreads account. I'm gonna tag a few people. It has been a couple days since this video was created, so I apologize if you are tagged and have already done this tag. I will let me know in the comments and I'll go find your tag to watch it, because I did not take the time to do that before this video. Okay, so we're gonna tag MJ over at Reading This Life, Jack over at Spread Book Joy, and Sandy at Miss Reads a Lot. These are lovely ladies. I love their channels. I would absolutely love to hear your answers and for you to expose your TBR. Okay, so that's all I have for today. I hope you are doing well wherever you are. I hope you take some time today to read a good book or two. And if you are having a bad hair day, just wear a bandana. Bye. Filming is really hard today. I'm getting interrupted a lot, but I don't want to refilm this, so I'm just gonna keep going and hope that I can edit out some of this mass chaos. Okay, there we go. Is Death on the Nile by Agatha Christie. So again, that goes with my time frame of learning about Agatha Christie. And okay, so that